Kathleen Kennedy in panic mode as Star Wars hidden plans are revealed. We're going to go ahead and get into some crazy details about this. Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Culture and News. This is Drama Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, if you've been subscribed to me and following me for a while, you've known that we've been talking about Disney Star Wars and the mess that Kathleen Kennedy has made of Lucasfilm for quite some time. And you know what? Even though, we're bringing you a bombshell and stuff, confirmation from Forbes and even WW Pro that supports everything, that's been talking about for months and stuff, this reach all circles back to Kathleen Kennedy. Now, before we go ahead and get right into it, do me a favor, a solid favor, smash the like button and share this video forward across social media and subscribe to the channel. And this is going to be a big ride, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for the whole thing. All right. Now, Kathleen Kennedy has been at the helm of Lucasfilm for years, and her leadership is directly tied to the financial disasters that we're about to discuss. But there's we got to talk about, how Kathleen Kennedy, she's been ruling the whole company. Now, she's been making the Star Wars movie expensive. We all know that. Really expensive, but making a good Star Wars movie, that seems to be the only way to actually recoup these massive costs. And under Kathleen Kennedy, that's been nearly impossible, okay? But we've also just learned the real reason why Star Wars stopped releasing theatrical movies, okay? Now, Disney tried to spin it as, Star Wars fatigue, as we all know that's fake, but the truth is way worse. Now, under Kathleen Kennedy and her leadership, these films were losing big money. I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars, okay? Take the Rise of Skywalker, for instance. Y'all remember Forbes? Forbes just confirmed what's been said almost over a year, even for WW Pro. Now, shout out to Valiant Renegade and that Park Place and WW Pro for that. And under Kathleen Kennedy, in her direction, this movie became one of the biggest financial disasters in modern cinematic history, okay? Now, hate to talk about this movie, but The Rise of Skywalker, that cost nearly $600 million just to produce. And that's not even counting the marketing, which likely added another, $200 million, bringing the total cost to around $800 million. Now, do the math. Disney needed at least $1.6 billion at the box office just to go ahead and break even. But under Kathleen Kennedy, not surprisingly, they can't even deliver. Now, the movie made over $1 billion worldwide, falling about $600 million short of profitability. That's not just a flop. That's just a catastrophe. It's a financial black hole that swallowed nearly an eighth of what Disney originally paid by Lucasfilm. And what happened? And that just all happened under Kathleen Kennedy's watch. Now, under Kathleen Kennedy, Star Wars has been riddled with, creative flops and missteps. And remember how Rise of Skywalker felt like a jumbled mess? It was as if they tried to copy the ending of Avengers Endgame and paste it into Star Wars. All the Jedi showing up, every starship existence magically appearing out of nowhere. It was like a desperate attempt to replicate success without even earning it, okay? And let's not forget about Solo. Okay, another Star Wars story where that's another flop on Kathleen Kennedy's resume. That movie barely made $393 million at the box office, which wasn't even enough to go ahead and cover its cost of production and marketing. And it was such a disaster that Disney scrapped plans for more standalone Star Wars films, and as they should, because the fans weren't even having it. Now, we're hearing rumors of a new trilogy, episodes 10, 11, and 12, with Rey Palpatine returning as a central figure. And guess who's behind this idea? Kathleen Kennedy, of course. If they couldn't make one movie profitable, how in the world do they think they'll go ahead and manage three? Now, if each of these three films cost around $600 million to make and market, and that's just a conservative estimate, we're looking at a potential losses of $1.8 billion if they don't learn from their mistakes. But based on Kathleen Kennedy and her track record, does anyone really believe that they've learned anything? I mean, I don't think they learned anything, to be honest with you, but here's another point to consider. Under Kathleen Kennedy, the fan base has become deeply divided. As you all know, that Star Wars was once a unifying cultural phenomenon, beloved by generations, but under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, the franchise has become a battleground for identity politics and creative mismanagement. Fans don't even trust Lucasfilm anymore, let alone Disney, and that mistrust is showing at the box office itself. Now, Kathleen Kennedy and her approach to Star Wars has been, marked by a lack of respect for the original trilogy, the characters, and the fan base itself. Look, Look at what happened with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. That wasn't even a creative choice. It was a political statement, one that alienated millions of fans. And when you lose a core fan base, you lose the lifeblood of your franchise as a whole. And let's not forget, it's just not the movies. Under Kathleen Kennedy, even the Disney Plus shows have struggled to capture the magic of the original Star Wars saga. I mean, yeah, the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian had a strong start, but let's be honest here, it's been downhill ever since. And shows like the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi have been lackluster at best, failing to draw the kind of excitement and viewership that Star Wars should command. Okay, so basically, where does that leave us? Kathleen Kennedy has turned what was once the crown jewel of science fiction into a franchise on the life support. And Disney is just afraid to release another theatrical film because they know the fans won't show up. I mean, not after the disasters we've seen under the leadership of Kathleen Kennedy. And what else? What's Bob Iger's role in all of this? While Kathleen Kennedy has been the face of Lucasfilm's failures, and let's not forget, Bob Iger signed off on all of this. He allowed Kathleen Kennedy to go ahead and steer the ship straight into the iceberg. And now, ever since he's been back as Disney CEO, trying to clean up the mess. But here's a question. Can he? I mean, if Kathleen Kennedy stays at Lucasfilm, it's hard to see how the franchise recover. And at this point, the fans have lost trust in Disney, and even Kathleen Kennedy. The movies aren't even profitable, and the brand is just tarnished. Okay, now Disney needs to make a clean break if they want to turn things around. But until then, we'll be here keeping you informed and calling out the corporate nonsense. Okay, now Kathleen Kennedy and Disney and Lucasfilm, might try to spin the narrative, but guess what? The numbers don't lie, and neither do we, okay? But the fact of the matter is Kathleen Kennedy has a lot more to go. I mean, Disney doesn't even have a CEO at this point. At least I think so. I mean, Bob Iger still is CEO, but guess what? Ever since Kamala Harris lost the election, it's like they had now got to go ahead and scramble. Okay, because they plan on Kamala Harris on winning the presidential election, where Dana Walden will go ahead and become the next Disney CEO. But now that didn't happen, she's out, and they're looking to go ahead and look for the executive lead of electronic arts and stuff, as has been said over and over again by other people on YouTube. And the fact of the matter is that's not. It's like they basically stopped going in-house, if you will. Okay, they start looking at people throughout the company and stuff, and guess what? Kathleen Kennedy, she was going to get that spot anyway. She's going to be well away on her way out of Lucasfilm as president. Might be sooner to that now that Trump won the presidential election. But the fact of the matter remains that this is how we see what we've seen in Disney the whole time. The fact that they've been so embroiled into a lot of political mess and stuff. And Kathleen Kennedy, I wouldn't even be surprised if Kathleen Kennedy was also caught up in all of this. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you have this particular topic. If you enjoy what I shared in this video, go ahead, smash the like button, share this video far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you're notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.